Hello, hello. Welcome to the live. How is everybody today? Jump on and say hi if you're here. I'm going to share it to the group. Hi, Michaela. Hi, Peyton. Hi, Vicki. What are you guys up to today? Hi, Michelle. What are you guys doing today? I was working on some gift wrapping. Actually, I only got as far as the tags. I have to read your thing, Michelle. It's hard to read. I have the phone up higher today than I normally do. Oh, I see. How are they doing? Yeah, maybe Jess will join us. She's got her cards. She can make a gift card box. Michaela, you finished your shopping. Did you get anything good for your mom? Hi, Jolie. Oh, and you, Vicki, you went dropped off your mom's gift. That's nice. I know we're getting pretty close. It's next week, right? Your chocolate text got my voice and translated it. Mine never translates correctly. It always is some weird sentence, so I never use the talk to text. I must talk very crazy or have an accent or something. Well, I have not wrapped one gift yet. So I was in the guest room organizing all of the gifts so that Michaela can come and sleep in the room. Right now there's just piles of gifts on there. You wrap some pork bones for Darcy? He would really love that if that's actually what you got him. But you don't really need to bother. He can just go out and find them in the trash. He's good at sniffing them out. I think he was a tracking dog or one of those hunters for King Charles. He gets his name true. He follows a scent so well. Okay, I'm going to get started so that we can finish in a decent amount of time today. Today we're going to be making these gift card holders. I think that these are great last minute gifts that anybody would love. We are, all home, confined, not really going to the store. And so I know a lot of people aren't able to go to Target or a dollar store or wherever to pick up cards to send to people. So, if it's your granddaughter's birthday or whatever, they can't go out to get their cards. So anybody would love to get a box of cards like this. So they have cards that they can use throughout the year, or at least until we can, go back out. And they're probably things you have on hand. I have a whole bin full of cards that I've made. So I know I could give a great assortment of cards, to anybody as a gift. So if you're trying to think of some last minute gift for your neighbor, for a teacher, for your parents, your mom, something like that, you probably have cards already made. Maybe doing some of the challenges or something like that. So, just put them in a gift card box like this. And this is really easy. So this is what we're going to make. I have 2 samples here, and I'll make a 3rd one. I just want to remind you, in case anybody's new here, we had some new people join the group, so I wanted to remind everybody. If you want to purchase any of the items that you see that I demonstrate today, you can go to thecraftychemist.closetomyheart.com. This is my Close to My Heart website where you can buy the products. You can like my Facebook business page, Crafty Chemist Designs. This is where I post all of the business things like new products, show samples, that sort of thing. And if you're not already a member, please join my Facebook group, The Crafty Chemist Presents Close to My Heart. I also share new products, ideas for using some of the products. And we just have a nice fun chat. People post, the things that they've made. I'm hoping people who maybe follow along today and make some of these gift card holders will post their versions. I would really like to see that. And then periodically I post on my blog called periodicallycrafty.blogspot.com. So you can head there to see some of the paper suites and so on. I just want to remind you one last time that some of the things are going away December 31st, so it's your last chance to get them. If you want to get the Jingle All the Way workshop album kit, it comes with all of these things. You can make a really cute Christmas album. The Seasons in Motion card. And if you're a follower of mine, you know how much I love these animated cards, but these are going away December 31st. And even if you don't want to purchase the seasonal items because you've already made your Christmas cards or whatever, I highly recommend getting the thin cuts because the thin cuts can be used for any of the animated designs. So not just the holiday ones, but the earlier ones that they had also. It makes these cards really easy. And then the last thing is, if you're going to sign up to be a VIP, you should do it before the end of the month. And the reason is because when you join, it's $35, but you get $25 back in Close to My Heart cash if you join before December 31st. Okay, so really it only ends up costing $10. After December 31st, you're only going to get back $15. So you get an extra $10 if you join before December 31st. And the reason why you would want to be a VIP is because you get 15% off in a future purchase for every dollar that you spend. So you spend $100, you get $15 back to use on your next purchase. I kind of liken it to Kohl's Cash. And I calculated, I used my algebra, and I figured it out. You only need to spend $67 for the whole year for you to get that $10 back. So if you think you're going to spend $67 within the next year, you should become a VIP, because everything after that is a bonus. But you also get a free stamp of the month for every time you spend $50. So if you're somebody who spends $50 and was previously paying the $5 for the stamp of the month, you get that for free now. So, 12 months, $5, you're making $60, back. So that's just, bonus on top of the other things. They're also going to have a special VIP event in February, and the kit is posted, so you can look in my group to see what the kit looks like. Only VIPs can attend. And then I'm also throwing in a Petite Perk stamp as an exclusive item just from me as a gift. And I also send my VIPs cutting diagrams to make cards using that free stamp of the month. So I just want you to know, now's the time to sign up for the VIP if you're going to do it, so that you can get that $25 back. And then lastly, before we start, just remember, I am having a New Year's Eve scrapbooking event, so please check off going on the event, and if you do that, I will send you the free make and takes in the mail. It's free to attend the New Year's Eve. We're just going to get together and have fun scrapbooking. Okay? Now let's get to this event. We are, going to make these cards. Again, here's my sample. Here's a sample. There's a place to hold the envelopes, and then a place for your cards. Very simple construction. Very easy to do. Okay, so here's a sample that I used. There's a variety of kind of birthday whatever cards. And then this is using the Serenity paper, because I just love this paper. And all of the cards inside use the Serenity. This is from the Serenity card kit. So there's anniversary cards, congratulations cards, happy wedding day, and happy anniversary. So this card kit is still available. You get 16 cards in this kit. There's only 8 here, but that's the Serenity card kit. Okay, so for this one and the one I'm going to be making today, I used this this paper pack, and you can see I've used so much of it. This is the Party Time paper pack, and I'll show you in the catalog. You may not know that in the new core catalog, we have some paper that's available all year long. That's new. It used to be that you could only get the printed paper in the 2 featured sets of the month, except for some simple paper like the gold foiled paper and the silver foiled paper. But this paper, called Party Time, is in the core catalog, so it's in this catalog, and it's available all year long. Okay, and here's the paper pack. It's got, pinks and blues and just some general party time. So this is the paper that I'm going to be using. This is the paper you can see here. I used this paper here to make that, and then the cards I made with the polka dot and the stripes. You can see this one's made out of the stripes. Okay, so this is paper that is available all year long. I will show you a couple sort of layouts that I've made using this. And if you buy that paper pack from me, I can send you the cutting diagrams for all of these pages. So based on just the paper pack and the sticker sheet, I made all of these items. And then I also made all of the cards that I'm going to be putting into the pack today. So I made all of these cards with just that one paper pack. You can see how cute these are. So again, if you buy this paper pack, I can send this cutting diagrams to make all of these things. So the scrapbook layouts and these cards. And so these are the cards that I'm going to be putting into my card box today. I also used this stamp set. It's called Wishing You Everything. And what's great about this is it's a very versatile stamp set because it's got happy, and then it could be birthday, anniversary, everything. Wishing you a, happy birthday. But you can also do something like a good day to be happy, hope your day is happy, you make me happy. And then it's got, some balloons and flowers. So really you can use it for almost any event. This is also in the core catalog. So it's in this catalog, and it's on page 19. Okay, and you can see some sample designs, but this is what it looks like. Okay, I really recommend you get this set because it is so versatile, like I said. Okay, so let's get started on our project. The first thing you need to do is take your solid cardstock and cut it 6 1/4, so 6 1/4 by 10 3/4. And I recommend that you use the solid cardstock because our solid cardstock is a little bit thicker than the pattern paper, and so I feel it's a little bit sturdier because, again, this does not have chipboard or anything in it. So, not that it's flimsy, but, you want it to be as sturdy as you can. So use a nice solid cardstock. Okay, and I'm going to be using sapphire. And you may or may not know that sapphire is my favorite color, and if you could tell, I use sapphire on both of these cards, but that's because it's my favorite. So, okay, I'm going to measure 6 1/4 by 10 3/4. And I will have you know I ordered a new cutter because mine, I feel, is a little bit out of whack. I know I say that a lot, so I thought I took care of it. Okay, so that's 6 1/4. Now I'm going to do the 10 3/4 side. Okay, so 10 3/4. Okay, now this is your book. This is the main part of your book. Okay, and remember, our paper is two-sided, so pick the side that you want. The true color is the darker side, and then the light color is the next side. And I should have maybe, it doesn't show up very well on my, let me put it on this so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to use the darker side. Okay, and now what you want to do is you're going to score it at 4 3/4. So you're going to score it here, and then score it at 6 inches. Okay, score at 4 3/4 and score at 6 inches. Okay, along the long side, because this, you can see, this is going to make the spine of your book. I'm going to take the cutting blade out of my cutter and put in my scoring blade. Okay, so the first one is 4 3/4. If you have a score buddy or something like that, you can definitely use that too. And then at 6 inches. Okay, and so now you can see the score marks. And when you do this, you can see it's indented on this side and then it's raised up on this side. Always push it towards the indentation. Okay, and then I'm going to use my bone folder and fold the spine on the 2 spots that I just scored. And you kind of, before you fold it, you know, make sure that you're getting a nice, even, you know, that you're not doing it crooked. Okay, so now there's the basic part of your book. Okay. Now let's make the decorations on the outside. So you can see this is decorated. The front has a panel, the spine has a panel, and the back has a panel. Okay? So let me get my pattern paper. I'm going to be using this paper from that set. Okay. And from the printed paper, I'm going to cut a 6-inch piece. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it in half. Now, think about the direction when you cut it, okay? Because I want my little confetti to be going up the page, right? I want it to be vertical. So I'm going to cut my 6 inches this way. I don't want to cut it this way, or right, because then if I cut my pieces out, right, the direction of the squiggles are going to be going the wrong way. So just think about it. If you have something that is directional, you want to think about it. Okay, so again, I'm going to cut my 6 inches this way. And I just wanted to make sure I told you 6 1/4. Yeah, 6 1/4. I didn't cut it 6 inches the first time. Okay, so now we're cutting it 6 inches. Now save that other piece because you're going to need it later. Now with this piece, I'm going to cut out the panels. And here's my sample. You're going to cut out 2 4.5 pieces and 1 1-inch piece. Okay. Now, it doesn't really matter on my piece, but there are some patterns where it might make a difference. For instance, if you're using the wood paper, which I've seen this made with the wood paper, and if you want the design to be continuous, so like if you want the wood to look like, you know, it went this way along the spine and then towards the back, if you want that to all match up, like the seams match up, you want to do these in a row. Okay, again, it doesn't matter particularly on this page, but there are papers where it would matter. So cut your pieces 4.5, 1, and 4.5. So let me see if I have a piece of paper where what I'm talking about matters. So, you know, for instance, if you're cutting here, you would definitely want to make sure, or if it matters to you, right? If you want it to, when you're going on the book, you know, if you want it to look continuous, you need to make sure that you cut it in order, 4.5, 1 inch, and 4.5. As opposed to just doing 2 4.5-inch pieces and then a 1-inch piece, which I might normally do. So 4.5 by 6, my 1 inch, and then another 4.5-inch pieces. And you're going to have a little piece left over. Okay, so you're going to have this piece left over, and you won't need that. Okay, so let's put that on our books. I'm going to put this one on the front because I think I like that one the best. And we're just going to tape it down with adhesive. this paper is really pretty, too. It's especially pretty if you're just going to put birthday cards in here. I would maybe use the other side. But since I'm putting not just birthday, I'm going to use this side. But you can see this paper is really fun. Happy birthday. That would be a fun cover too if you're just putting birthday cards. Okay, let me do the spine. Is everybody following along okay? Let me know if you're following along. If I'm going too fast, I can stop and chatter for a minute so you have time to catch up. And I'm just going to do the back. Now, I wasn't sure. Julie asked a question before we started about if the front and the back are seen. If you did make this book out of pattern paper, it would be kind of pretty because then you would be able to see both sides, the front and the back, and you probably wouldn't need to, make the decorations on the front. So if you did do it out of solid paper, you wouldn't need to make the panels. However, this really adds some stiffness to it by having the 2 layers of paper. So I probably would go this way. Okay? Now let's work on the inside. The inside piece, let me show you here. I'll take these out. We're going to work on this piece. This is basically just a box, if you can see in there, that I've glued on. Okay, so very simple construction. And you want to do this with the pattern paper. And so you want to take that piece of your pattern paper that you cut off. Remember, you cut that 12 by 12 sheet in half of 6 inches, and so this is 6 by 12 right now. And I'm going to make the box part out of this. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but on this one, I actually made the box in the sapphire, and then I put this on the front. And the reason is that I really wanted to use this paper for the cover. However, I didn't have enough to do everything and the box. So I made the box out of solid and then just decorated the front. So you can do that too if you don't have enough of the paper. But you will have enough if you do it this way, if you started with a 12 by 12 sheet. Okay, so now we're taking this sheet and we are going to, you need to cut it, I don't know if you can see on this one, 5 inches high. Right now it's 6 inches, so you need to cut an inch off by 8 3/8. Yes, 8 3/8. So I'll show you where that is on the cutter. Okay, so I'm going to cut the inch off, and you want to do that first because we are going to use that for the for this. So you want the whole 12-inch piece. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to be measuring on the right side. Okay. So this is the strip we're going to use to hold the envelopes. So now my piece is 5 inches, and I think you can see why I think my cutter is wacky, because that just doesn't seem 90 degrees to me, but okay, hopefully yours is better than mine. So the other side is 8 3/8. So let's look at the cutter and pretend like you're one of my students. The 8s are each line. So this is 1/8, 2/8, 2/8, which is equal to a quarter, right? And then 3/8 is the next line, okay? Because of the mark here is 1/2 inch, which is 4/8. So it's between the 1/4 and the 1/2. Okay. So I'm going to cut this piece off. 8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. So this is where I'm going to cut it. I don't know if I can hold it up here, but that's where I'm going to cut it, right there. I'm teaching chemistry next quarter virtually, so this is how it's going to have to be virtual. Oh, actually, I want to cut this piece off because this piece is the part that I feel is not straight. Okay. Yeah, so wish me luck on teaching chemistry virtually next quarter. Okay, so this is 5 by 8 3/8. Did everybody get that? I don't have any comments, so somebody comment just so that I know that the comments are still working and that I'm still live. Okay, Vicky, I see Vicky commented. Yeah, this is good practice. I think I'm going to have to maybe do my labs with, with my top-down camera. So I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. After Christmas, I'm going to turn my attention to that. Okay, so now we're just going to score the sides that we need. Oh, Michelle, you're following along. That's good. Should I use that as my goalpost if Michelle can follow along? I didn't say that. You said that, Michelle, not me. Okay, now basically what we're going to do now is score 2 inches all around. 2 inches from the side here, 2 inches from the side here, 2 inches from the side here, and 2 inches from the side here. So basically, just take your paper and rotate it all the way through 360 degrees and score at 2 inches every time. Okay? Okay. So let's do this. Again, I'm going to take off my cutting blade and I'm going to put in my scoring blade. But use your score buddy if you have a score buddy. Or, use your ruler and a bone folder or something. Okay, so I'm putting it at 2 inches and I'm going to score. Okay, turn it 90 degrees. Put it on at 2 inches. Score. Turn another 90 degrees. 2 inches and score it. And then the last side, 2 inches. Okay, so now this piece is scored. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like all of this. Now what you're going to do is we're going to cut here just up to the first score line. Okay, we're going to cut here and then turn it over, cut here and cut here. So you want to leave this center 1 inch alone. Don't cut into that. Okay? So I'm just going to take it, and you can see the indentations. So I'm just going to take it up to this first mark where it's scored. It's scored there. Okay. Taking my nice anti-stick scissors from close to my heart that I love. Just up to that first line. And now hopefully you can start to see how it's going to, fold up. So now all we're going to do is we're going to use the bone folder and press those edges. I am dropping the links to the paper pack and the stamp set into the comments. Just so that they are there. Okay, so now let's take our bone folder and just fold up. And you want to fold in towards the center. just think about how your box is going to open up. Since I want this to be on the outside, right, I'm folding it like this. And then just do each of the three levels. Turn it around and do the other side. Just get a nice fold on them. And then don't forget to do the short ends too, but they should probably be pretty good at this point. Okay, so again, now you can see how it's going to be. Okay. Now I'm just going to use my adhesive, and you're going to put the adhesive on the 4 corners, and you're going to put it on the side that you want. Okay, so make sure you put the side that you want to be on the outside up, and then put adhesive on these four corners. Okay, not this part in because this is going to be the sides. So let me show you. I just want to do it on just this part here. You can use score tape if you don't think this is going to be strong enough, if you're concerned. I believe I just used this on my samples. Hopefully I'm not running out of adhesive. I do have an order in for more. Uh-oh. Of course, I'm running out of adhesive. Let me change my adhesive while you are catching up. I'm sure nobody is surprised that I ran out of adhesive. If anyone is surprised, comment in the comments. Okay, there we go. Got a new thing. Now, where was I? Okay, I think I'm just right here. Okay, now I did all 4 sides at once. So, you know, if you don't feel that confident, you don't have to do it all. But, so fold this side in and then attach the front and the back. I like my front to be, right, you want to put this on the inside because you want your front and your back to be not, you know, visually nice. If you accidentally do it on the wrong side, you only do it on one side, one side is going to be glued to the book, so you have a little bit of wiggle room if you screw up on one side. But don't screw up on both because you only have one chance there. Okay. Now, you probably won't get it 100% flat. You see how this side's hanging over just a little bit? If it were hanging over just a little bit on one side, I would leave it if the other side looked good. But both of these sides are hanging over a little bit. It's not a big deal, but if it bothers you because you're OCD like I am, I'm just going to trim that little piece off. There we go. So now it looks, you know, flat. You can do it on this side too, again, if that bothers you. The back I'm not so concerned about because, again, that's going to be against the book, but I'll show you. There we go. Okay. Okay, nobody shocked? So, yeah, so you probably will have to trim it. Don't be worried if you do have to trim it. Again, I'm surprised I only had to trim it a little bit because my trimmer, as I've mentioned, is, I think the arm doesn't come out perpendicular, so it cuts a little bit off. Okay, so now we're going to attach it to the book. Now this is a place where I'm going to use liquid glass, and I recommend you use liquid glass. Okay, because it's fairly strong. It's a strong hold and will dry fast. The one thing that you want to watch out for is you don't want to use a whole bunch of it. You might think, you know, more is better, but it's not. And the reason is because it can get, it can make the other side, I don't know if you can tell on this one, but it can get a little bit wavy. I don't know if I can get that to show in here, but right, it can make the other side pucker a little bit. You know, if you get something too wet, then it kind of can get kind of wavy. So another thing is don't put it right up against the edge, because when you push this down, it's going to spread a little bit, and you don't want it to go, you know, on the outside, especially because you're going to be sticking cards in there, and so you don't want glue to kind of get caught. So I would start, you know, from the inside, you know, at least 1/4 of an inch, and maybe just go like this. If you can see, I just put one bead and then maybe one more bead, you know, like that. That's probably plenty. And I keep a pin in my liquid glass so that it doesn't get dried out. Okay, and then you're going to stick this on. And you want to stick it on almost at the bottom, but not exactly at the bottom. I don't know if you can see, I have a little bit of an edge, trim edge. And then I'm going to just press it down for a few seconds. And you know, liquid glass dries fairly rapidly. Okay, so there we go. So now it's pretty good. This is one time where you will be able to see what's on the inside, except only if you're like looking down into it. But you're going to put your cards in there that will cover it up. Okay? Okay. So push it down so that it's kind of secure. So now you can see how nice, you know, that size-wise, that's a pretty nice size. But it leaves a little bit of room for the envelopes, which we'll work on next. Okay, now here's a piece of honesty. The demo that they did for consultants, you know, with the new catalog, when they demoed this for us as a workshop we could do, they used 1.5 inch. Let me make sure it's 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch banner there. It might be 1.25. Let me check here. Yeah, no, it's 1.5. Okay, so they used a 1.5 inch piece. If, like, both of my samples are done with a 1.5 inch piece, okay, because I followed the workshop. But as I was trying to, you know, do my samples like this, what I found out is in order to do that, you need to have another sheet, right? Because there's not enough space left over in your paper, because you use 6 inches and then you use 5 inches. So you can either use a different design or you have this 1 inch left over. So I'm just going to use the 1 inch. That way it's just, you know, you're only using that one sheet of printed paper. So this is my printed paper. So it's just 1 inch by 12 inches. And this was what was left over from cutting the outside and this. Because remember, this was 6 inches and this is 5 inches, so you have 1 inch left over. So that's what I'm going to recommend. the original directions, they said 1.5 inches. But again, maybe that's why I, had to, fake it a little bit with this, because I didn't have enough paper left over. So I'm just going to use this 1 inch. It will be perfectly fine, because all it's doing is holding the envelopes on there. So I don't really think it matters. Yeah, I'll post the measure. I'll take pictures of these, and would that be good enough if I take pictures of these to show you? I'll post these. Okay, so now let's work on the cards. So what you need to do is get your envelopes, and you need 8 envelopes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 envelopes, and they're going to go here. Okay, and so what you need to do is we're going to wrap this around your envelopes. Now, it's a very tight fit. They will just overlap barely. I don't know if you can see. Do you see how it's, there's like, if you push it in, there may be 1/8 of an inch overlap. Okay, but kind of crease, get the sense for here and here, and I just kind of rub it a little bit, and then I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive right on the end, and I don't want to do it there because. So I put just a little bit of an adhesive right along the edge there. Just enough to kind of hold it. And then overlap it that kind of 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so let's see if this is going to work. You don't want to do it while the envelopes are in there, because it will obviously get on your envelopes if you overshoot it. Okay. Again, this is a little bit tight, but don't make it too tight, but okay. And then scoot your envelopes out. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to liquid glass this to your card base, to the book base, okay? So again, I'm going to, on the side that you taped it a little bit, take your liquid glass, and don't use a lot so it soaks through, and don't go too far to the edges, but just enough that it's going to hold it down, okay? Again, if you use too much, it's going to make it wavy on the other side, and the other side of this one is the front, so you don't want that to happen. Okay, so now place it down and hold it there for a few seconds. I did not make my glue go all the way to the edge because that gives it a little bit of flexibility, and it doesn't, come squirting out everywhere. So kind of just push that down a little bit and hold it for a few seconds. Okay, so now that's on there pretty good. And it didn't make the front bow very much, so. Okay, now I'm going to let this dry, these 2 pieces dry a little bit, and I'm just going to talk about the cards. So to make this, you could see you used basically a piece of solid cardstock to make this, and then you used 1 whole piece of the pattern paper. To make 8 cards, these are going to be simple cards, you just need 1 more sheet of solid and 1 more sheet of pattern. Okay, and this is how it's going to be. You're going to use a regular card base. So this is a regular card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is our typical card bases that you can buy. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And you're going to need a piece of your solid that's 4 by 5 1/4, so just a 1/4 inch smaller on each side. This is the solid, and then the pattern piece you want to be 3 1/2 by 4. Okay, so a card base, this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and then this piece is 4 by 3 1/2. And that's what these cards are. So I have my solid piece and then the pattern piece. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, the sapphire. And then this polka dot paper is 3 1/2 by, 3 1/2 by 4. Okay. Now let me show you how you cut that on your paper so that you can get all 8 cards. So for your pattern paper, you can get all of your cards out of one piece of pattern paper. Okay, so you want to cut, now I wouldn't draw the lines, I just did this for the demo, but you want to cut at 4 inches and 4 inches, and that'll be 3, you have 3 strips, right, because this is a 12-inch piece of paper, and then cut each of those strips into 3 1/2 pieces. So from this sheet of 12 by 12, you will get 9 pattern paper for your cards. So you have enough to get 9 of these pieces right here. Okay? Now for the solid piece, you are going to, again, cut 4 inches. And so you're going to get 3 strips. But these have to be 5 1/4. Okay? So you're going to cut along 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. So you're only going to get 2 from each strip. So that means you're only going to get 6 from this paper. However, remember you had paper left over, the solid paper from making the book, the actual book. So this is the piece that I have left over. So you can get 2 more. You can get 2 more card fronts out of this piece. Okay, so then you'll be able to get your 8 cards. So just out of a solid paper and the printed paper, plus the leftover from the solid paper of your making the book, you have enough to make your 8 cards. Okay, so I'm just going to put one of those together, and I've already cut some. So here's the 4 by 5 1/4. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and I'm just going to adhere that to the front. Okay, and I like the dark side, so I'm going to put that on the front. Center this. Okay, now take your paper, whichever side you want. I'm going to use this side. And this is 4 inches across this way, and then 3 1/2 this way. And then I'm going to adhere it to the paper. Okay, now I'm going to put it a little bit more, like about an inch down, and that's not going to be quite centered. It's going to be a little bit shorter on the bottom. So the bottom will be 3/4 and the top will be 1 inch. And I'll show you why in a minute. But okay, so I've stamped just the happy. And this one is a 2-layer stamp. I don't know if you can see, there's the lagoon. I stamped it in lagoon with it just says happy. And then the top part is in sapphire that goes over the lagoon. And I'm going to adhere this with foam tape. So you can either use your foam tape or your foam dots. So I'm just going to put a little bit of foam tape here. And even with the foam tape, the 8 cards will fit in there because I did foam tape the 8 that are in the other one. You can see it fit fine. Okay. So I'm going to adhere this, I don't know, about here. Okay, and then on this one, I'm going to put the hope your day is happy. So it's not necessarily a birthday card. And on this one, let me use the foam dots because I think this tape is too wide. Oh, this might fit. I don't have any more of the really skinny tape. So let's see if I can get that. Okay. Or you can use the foam dots if you want. And I'm going to put that up here. Okay, now for decorations, I'm going to use these yellow acrylic stars. And I'm going to liquid glass these on. And I'm just going to put one of these small stars because the solid ones are pretty easy. Okay, and I'm just going to put like one drop on there. And I'm going to put it right here. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because when you make 8 of these, you don't want to put this acrylic star because it is thick. I don't know if you can see how thick it is, right? It's got depth. It's got depth to it, right? They're probably an 1/8 inch. You don't want to put them all in the same spot because then you won't be able to fit your cards in. If you look at in my sample that I made, you can see I put one star here, I put one down here, I put one here, I put one here, I put one up there, one down here. I've also made some of these happy birthday, hope your day is happy. So I just kind of alternated where I put these, okay? I also alternated happy birthday on the stripes, happy birthday on the dots, hope your day is happy on the stripes and the dots, and then, you know, did that again. Striped dot, happy birthday, and hope your day is happy, stripes and dots. You know, to kind of give it a little bit of varied. So since our paper is two-sided, you can choose that. So because I didn't put these all in the same spot, right? I put the stars all over. So no two have it in the same spot. It's going to fit fine right into this card box. And it's really not fitting in there because I can't see what I'm doing with the camera in my way. There we go. And you can see these are popped up. So, right, it fits perfectly fine in here. So again, when you do this, make sure that you put these in different directions. Okay. So let's check on here. So basically we're done. I'm going to take our 8 envelopes and I'm going to slide it in here. And you know, if you want to wait until it's more dry, you can. But you can see how nicely they fit in there. I mean, it's a tight fit, but they fit. And then you would put your 8 cards in here. I'm only showing you how to do the one. But remember, you can get more than 8 of your printed paper on here, and then you can get 6 of your card fronts on a solid piece, and then the other one. Now, I also am going to decorate the front of this one like I did here. I put a happy here. This one I didn't. I'm still debating whether to put a sticker or something. I love this paper so much that I might not. This paper that matches is from the mix-in set, which I thought it looked so pretty together. But let's put this one on the front, and I just put happy. I didn't put the birthday or anything. And this one I'm not going to pop up. You can if you want to. I'm not, only because this part is going to, you know, be handled, rubbed a little bit. You know, if you put it in a gift bag or you know, whatever you do. If it's popped up, I think it get caught more. The stamp set does come with decorations. So if you don't have the acrylic stars, which the acrylic stars are Z3804, if you don't have these, you could just print a whole bunch of these and pop them up if you want, or you could put it, you know, I could put it like here or something if I wanted to. That would be a cute decoration. Let me see, I think I might do that because it does look really cute. There we go, I'm gonna put that there. Okay, and then these cards from that paper pack that I made previously with the cutting layout, and I'm gonna stick these in here. And you can see these all have the, you know, the stars, and they're all in different locations. But this gives you a good idea about what the paper pack is like. Happy everything. I like this one, happy. So you can use that for whatever. You make me happy. This would be great just to send out during the pandemic, right? So here's my 8 cards. I'm just going to put these in here, and it is ready to gift. And it may end up as somebody's gift this Christmas. Okay? What a great gift. So these are, you know, happy. These are kind of birthday-ish, but it doesn't have to be, right? Like this one is more happy anniversary and congratulations and so on. It would be really nice if you could give a variety for somebody so they could use it all year long. You know, have a birthday, have a get well, have a happy anniversary, a sympathy card, you know, whatever. Have, you know, 8 different designs. Someone who doesn't make cards would love that. And look, I think that was one of the fastest lives that I have done. I'm kind of on time. If you have any questions, let me know. Was anybody able to follow along? I know you didn't make 8 cards, unless you had 8 cards like in your stash ready to go. Did anybody at least get the book done? Oh, Vicky finished the box. Great. I can't wait to see what you did. I put the link to the acrylic stars in the post. That's all you have left. You know, truthfully, Vicky, this card that I just made, I had to cut, this is just white daisy cardstock, because I'm like you, I ran out and I have not received my replacement yet. I go through cards so fast. I realize I have to order cards every month, or else I run out. So this is just actually white paper. So if you cut a piece of white daisy 8.5 by 11, and then just cut that piece in half, the 11-inch side cut in half to 5.5, then you have 2 cards from it. Oh, you didn't do the envelope. Yeah, you kind of need the envelope strap just so that you know how, because it's a really tight fit. So it kind of helps you figure out where to do it. But if you just overlap it 1/8 of an inch, that's probably, as long as you're using like the close to my heart size. If you have different size, you know, that might be different, but one other thing, you know, starting at the new year, I think I'm going to be doing a little bit more scrapbook pages instead of just cards. So if people think that they would like to do pages, I just wasn't sure that people would like to, you know, just work on a layout, but I'm going to try and do scrapbook pages and have a different technique. Like maybe one week we'll do a stencil or use the stencils, or one week we'll use the glass sprays, or, you know, just different things like that. Or one week use the, you know, the foil papers or something like that. I'll try and mix in some scrapbooking instead of just card making. You know, I recommend getting this birthday time paper because it's, you know, it's very versatile. You can see those stripes are just really cute, and the polka dots are cute, but the other paper is really cute too. What's actually really nice about this, I think, is that I don't know if I have a piece that I can show here. I have a piece here, but like the paper is, here's a full sheet. One side is kind of more girl, and then the other side is geared towards more boy. So regardless of the kind of cards you need to make, you should have something that's appropriate. And they're all like that. I only have a couple sheets left, but you know, you can see this one. And you get, I think there's more paper than in a normal pack. Let's see, you get 12 sheets to each of the 6 double-sided designs. So the stripes and polka dots, the balloons. This is the one I did the cover on, and then the polka dots, the confetti and the birthday, the presents, and then stars and candles. Okay, if there's no more questions. Oh, Diana, you would like more pages? Yeah, great. So I think I'm going to do more pages in the future. But like I said, there are page directions for this paper. So, like here's a layout that I did with the paper. It's hard to how my setup is. I think if I do more scrapbook layouts, I have to figure out a better setup for my overhead so that I can show an actual 2-page layout. But here are some scrapbook layouts. And if you buy this paper pack, I can send you the directions, the cutting directions. But I made those and then all of those cards and more because I used some of the cards too out of that one pack. So. Okay, well, hopefully you were able to follow along. Next week, I think I am going to, I meant to get out a sample, but I think I might work on bows, just how to use the bow die, because I want something simple because it's right after Christmas. So I think I just will show you how to use the bows on cards, on scrapbook layouts, and on gifts. So something easy like that. Okay. Well, thanks for joining in. I really appreciate you joining, and hopefully I can see you next week. Have a great Christmas. I hope it's really great, and I hope you at least get to virtually see your family if you can't meet in person. So Merry Christmas to everybody. See you later.